Hey kids, look at me, I'm over here. How interesting is that? All right kids, let's switch back over here. Let's see how things are over here. Not bad. We'll take this. Got some tech issues here. Not too worried about it. Today we're going to solve some of these tech issues. Let's get some music going here because we won't have Rory for a while. Welcome to everyone. All right, today we are going to work on the selection UI of our map editor. The app's still called the D&D Map Spike. Just to refresh your memory on it, here's where we left off from yesterday. There it is right there. So we're able to bring up the map that we generated over at the Don John website, which is right over here, donjon.bin. And we would do something like this and click on construct and it would build a map. And then we would bring that in. And then yesterday we wrote code to detect the rooms, which are in kind of this pinkish red color, and to detect the corridors, which are here. We don't have anything that we're working on with doors yet. And part of the problem with doors is, I guess, this right here. I don't like placing a door right in the middle of a 5x5 square, 5 foot by 5 foot square. I want the door to be right on the edge of the room. And if there are two rooms connected by a 5x5 foot square in the random map generator, I kind of want to pick one of the two rooms, I think. Or I don't know, maybe split it. I'm not sure what to do on that. It's basically a personal preference issue. I suppose I could just succumb to the way the map is generating and saying the door is right in the middle of the hallway, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to me. So I haven't quite figured out the problem with doors. So I think I want to work on this a little more. Work on the UI here a little bit more is what I think I want to do.
Michael Jolly is in the house.
Watch out for my head, it's right here. You're in the flight path. Come on, bald-bearded builder. Hey, I'm a bald-bearded builder too. I wonder if that name's available. Would that be confusing if I changed my name? Yeah, probably would. Could the door be 5 foot thick? The only way that makes sense to me if it's a whole slab of concrete moving up or down. Yeah, bald-bearded builder too. That works. Yeah, if it was a slab of concrete. But yeah, I don't like it. I'm like, I get that it was a compromise in their engine, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. In fact, I want to take what they're doing and I want to take it to the next level because, you know, that's what I like to do. With regard to that, I was doing some kind of prototyping of what that might look like. Really? You like the slab idea? Michael Jolly. Yeah, so... Well, fair. Let me show you what I was working on here. So I'm working on a way to make anything look like tiles. So what I did is I created some different sets of lines here, this tile grid here, that I can just pop up over any image. And I can change the opacity of it here in my image editing tool to make it just feel right. So I can take any background ground surface and use it for the floor of the dungeon. So I want to incorporate this tile grid into the UI we're building. Because what I want our UI to do is I want it to, it's kind of like an image generator, is what this thing is. We're going to give it components. Like we're going to say this is the room and the room's texture is this file. And the file will ideally be a wrappable texture. In other words, seamless on all the edges. so I can wrap it in a rectangular way. And then as we play the game, if we need a really detailed view, we're going to zoom in and generate a high-res image that's just the detailed view, pass that down to the overlay, and then we've got this gorgeous map rendering. It's a little bit like the Dragon technology. Hey, Jetsam. Stealth mode on. Jetsam's in, and we didn't know it. It's a little bit like the Dragon technology that Microsoft put out a few years ago. Dragon imaging, I think is what they... Let me see if I can find it. Dragon image tech from Microsoft. Not Photosynth. Sea Dragon? Yeah, that's it. Sea Dragon. And so what Sea Dragon allowed you to do was have incredibly large, ridiculously large images and browse them, zooming in and out. And it would essentially serve up the images you needed to see. It's similar to the technology Google Maps does. So I want to create something crudely similar, right? In the constraints of doing this on the show, so we're not going to be like, we're not going to refine this like crazy, but it's going to crudely serve up just the bitmaps we need while having the ability to support a zoom in, so I can zoom in on a particular location and get as close as, like, I think about this right here, where I have a character here and a character here and a character here, and they're in battle and they all look good. That's where I want to be. I want to be able to zoom in and get a high res image on the map, but simultaneously be able to zoom out. And I want to be able to control all that and have that live over the show. So it's a little bit ambitious, so we're going to cut some corners and do it in a crude way. But one of the elements I want to be able to do and support is the ability on the map to basically lay this down as I'm putting the textures in for a room. So my room might have a shape like, whatever this, but I might say the room is filled with seawater, and then I might come over and use this texture and fill it in. That's what I want to be able to figure out how to do. Build the map, generate and save the map. When I build the map is not just a PNG file, it's a PNG file plus data, and maybe backup support PNG files, and maybe it's built live during the show, so we build just the shot needed to fill the screen at the resolution requested. That's kind of what the long-term vision is here. But, I should say this, our show motto,
Force and ignorance.
it's, plenty of both. So we're going to run at this problem, and as usual, having no idea how hard the problem is going to be to solve, and really no idea how to solve it, and we're going to solve it. That's what we do on the show. And maybe we make an IoT device to spray mist on you when you go to a room like that. I'm into that, actually. I'm like in negotiations with Karen Mangicotti, my wife, who's known here in the chat room as sex positive. I am in conversations with her about, remotely controlled explosive devices in the room around me. And when I say explosive, I mean safe ones, but the ability to like shoot up a blast of smoke, for example, things like that. And I love the spray mist idea. I want to get that for all the players because I think it would be hilarious. Definitely something that we will likely do if we are still doing this, a year from now, 2 years from now, that sort of thing. Smell-o-vision with some salt water. Joseph says, sounds simple enough. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's simple if I got whoa, I almost said a bad word. My fun way of thinking is what I meant to say. If I have my brain working, we can get this done. But if that's not the case, then, we might struggle for a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to shock them on lightning attacks, but I'm certainly happy to have something that arcs right in front of them to scare them. It's a little bit fun. All right, so that's kind of what I've done. I've built this kind of tiling, kind of look. And it's got the exact measurements of my tiles, 60 pixels. That's kind of what we've got. So I promised today. I actually tried to do this yesterday and I got totally diverted because I realized just seconds before the show started that there are irregularly shaped rooms from the generator, not rectangles. I was like, okay, great. So now I want to change this up. I think I also want to just do a quick change here. I want to make the background not white. I want to make it black so it matches at least this look right here so we can more easily compare. Let's see how easy that is to do. Here's my D&D map spike. I wonder if I can use hot XAML reload. Can I change a background color for the canvas? Can I do that? What's going on? B, there it is. Background equals, and let's say black. Is that gonna do it? Oh, XAML is so sweet sometimes. This could quickly turn into a Russian roulette D&D game. Coding Gorilla! Hey, Coding Gorilla, welcome. You're next on my list. I haven't started anything really with you yet for fanfares, but you're next on my list. I've been playing with this caps lock idea because I think you joked about earlier in one of our shows where you were like, oh yeah, I love the caps lock key. And so I was thinking gorilla on a caps lock key, something like that. I'm not sure. We'll see. Starting to realize where Running Man came from. Dated myself to the late 80s and 90s there. Running Man, isn't that with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is that right? Or is it, let's see what we got here. Running Man. How can you date yourself, bald-bearded builder? You're like 20 years old. Running Man, TV series? No, South Korean variety show. No. There's something else. Wow. Let's try Running Man movie. $1987. Oh yeah, there it is. I feel like there was the one before this too. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, the movie. Okay, so that's done. Mick Fleetwood, Dweezil Zappa. I feel like everybody who's joining in at this point is dating themselves now. So let's work on the selection UI. And, you know, I promise you, I have an idea on how to solve this, but I don't know for sure that it's the right way. There's probably, as with everything we do on the show, I think there's probably a better way to do it. There's probably a better way. But my plan is to solve this, because I want to be able to support multi-selection. I want to be able to select some range and then select another range and another range and then work with that selection of tiles. Either whether I want to set up walls or call it a room or create a corridor, whatever it is. And I want kind of a couple ways of doing it. A couple modes. One of the modes that might be interesting is a follow mouse mode, where I just kind of move my mouse down and it follows it, creating a corridor like that, right? Or maybe I, click and drag an area, right? Click and drag a region to then either select it or deselect it, or maybe toggle it even. I'm not sure about that. We'll play with that. Yeah, there's always a better way. There's always a better way. So we're going to hopefully get close to a crude, fast, easy way to do this. So my plan is this. Right now I've got these rectangles that are right here, all on it. And because my selection is essentially multi-select and two-dimensional multi-select, I'm talking about creating another essentially array representing the selection. And because I'm using XAML, I think what I'm going to do, my plan is to put another second rectangle on top of all these rectangles that is semi-transparent and changes the color of it with the exact same size. And that thing is going to be the thing that looks for mouse hits or is toggled by other activity of the mouse. For example, I might come in and I might double click in a room a single click might select the tile of the room, and a double click might select the entire room or the entire corridor. Right? See what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I think I got to lay down a second layer of tiles on top of these. That's my first step. So let's close this down. And let's go into the code. Normally I'm a huge fan of edit and continue, but I'm not going to do that today. I think very much on this because it's such a small app and it starts up so quickly. Now, somewhere in here, we're creating a new floor. And I think we're actually doing it out here in our XAML. Yeah, get room floor, get corridor floor. Okay, so that's going to grab, and basically it's just creating a rectangle and giving it specifying a fill color for it. And what are we doing down in one of these being called? They're right down here. So here we're adding it, the element right there. Let's do this. Let's extract that. Call this add UI element. Boom. Then I'm going to say, random question. What is a class constructor? I think we're talking about this. Like this, a static constructor for the class. As opposed to a constructor, just like that might look something like this, right? So this is a constructor, which means anytime an instance of the class gets created, this code will run. So it's like initialization code. This is a constructor is initialization code for an instance. And a static constructor, or sometimes I think sometimes referred to as a class constructor, is initialized the first time the class is referenced. Not an instance of the class, but the first time somewhere in out here you've got the word main window in other code. For example, I might have other code in here that says, hey, if, and I might have some sort of type passed in here, type like this, and I might come down here and I might say something like this: if type dot I don't know, assembly is equal to main window dot get assembly, something like that. What do I have here? Get type and then get assembly. Dot type. It's going to be type of, right? And then get a dot assembly. We can just do that. So I might have code like this. Notice here, I'm not creating an instance of any main window. I'm simply just referencing the main window type. If this is the first time this happens when I run the code, then this static constructor is going to be called. Okay? Sad sag, is that helpful? That's the difference between the two. Now, it could be that you've got, something else. You might have something else. There's another way to do it too. I might have, instead of saying type of, okay, cool. I might have something here that says new main window. And when I hit this line of code, then if that's the first time since the program started, it's running, I've now referenced this, then we're going to execute the static constructor. So in C# they're referred to as a static constructor, but in other language, I think other languages you might hear them called a class constructor. And so ultimately you're just thinking about initialization. I've got initialization for my instances where I will initialize my field variables, but I might have static variables up here. I might have, for example, like, I don't know, something, I can't think of anything, so I'll just say initialized like this. And then in here in my static constructor, I might set this to false or set it to true or something like that. Right? So I'll be modifying my static variables here, and over here I'll be modifying my field variables right here. So I might have something right here, instance, initialized, whatever. I feel like these variable names are not great because they're kind of they're conflatable, think I invented that word, but I've got the same word here and here. But the idea is that I can work with my field variables here in my instance, as well as my static ones if I want to. But here, only static variables. Okay? So that's what's going on. Sometimes, now, not to belabor this or push this or beat the dead horse, which I'm prone to do, but sometimes you might do something called a singleton, where you create a single instance of your class. In that case, I might have a static property up here called my singleton, I guess I'll call it that, like this. And what I might do is something like this. In my static constructor, I might create a new instance of it, like this. And I might set it up and build it, whatever that's going to be, just along those lines like that. I just noticed an issue. I had to take this out because that should not have been here. Okay, new instance. We got a bug. I want to report it. We're dog fooding CodeRushed, by the way. And when I see bugs, I want to report them. And so this is it, kids. The new instance template. Notice I've got this public static up here. Let's bring in another static one as well. Well, we'll just do this. I don't know. I'm calling this a bug. New instance here gives me this. And the reference here, the assignment here to singleton is basically I can't assign it because it's static. So our new instance template, n instance, is assigning static variables. So like I would come in here and I say, whoops, let's make this static, sorry. Like vi, whoops. Let's try that one more again. Vi, call it count, like this. Come down new inst, like this. And why didn't it get count up there? Because it wasn't a property? Maybe that's why. Let's make it a property. Let's see what's going on there. Wait, that's a static constructor. Can't you assign it? Not in a, I can, but I can't do it in here. Oh, but is it because it's the constructor for the singleton? Is that my problem? I want to see what's going on here. New inst, boom. The problem is I'm reassigning it right in here in this piece is what I'm doing. It may be because of the singleton nature of it. No, count is the same problem. It doesn't like count either. I cannot assign to static variables inside of my initialization, right? My object initialization. So that's kind of what's going on there. Decompose initializer. Yeah. So can I do it here? Count. Can I get count? No, I can't do it here either. Yeah, because it's an instance piece. So that's the bug, kids. Let me wrap up that bug and so that our devs can take a look at that and they can fix it. Ninst template tries to initialize static properties. Not cool. And I don't think I need to send the log files to that. There it is. So now that bit I just typed into the chat room is going to send a bug with the link to the time so our devs can look at that code. I was talking about singletons. So I can create a singleton like this and initialize it there the first time it's referenced, and then now I can and I wonder if I can make. I'm totally doing this in the wrong place. I'm just hacking at this, but I wonder if I can make this private. And I think I can. And then that gets me the ability. It kills this code here, and it's going to kill a bunch of other stuff if I don't undo this. But that gives me the ability to make it so that only I can create an instance of it. And now if anybody wants to access my singleton, they access it like this. They, instead of saying new main window, they're just going to say main window.singleton, and now they have access to it. And I can call functions on it. And the cool thing about this, like, you know, do something, whatever this is, the cool thing about this is that if this is the first line of code that I see, the fact that I'm referencing main window is going to call the static class constructor. right? The static constructor, which is going to initialize my singleton, and nobody else can create an instance of it because I made it private. And now I've got one instance of the class out there running the whole time for the app, which is sometimes useful. Now that I've done that, let's undo the changes I've done. I guess I'll just hit Control Z for a while. That's kind of where I want to be. And then down here, I think I can get rid of a lot of this code. Get rid of all this sample code I just wrote. So hopefully that is helpful. Hopefully that's helpful. Get rid of my class. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Yeah, can't use object initialization syntax with static initialization. Yeah. Technically, the singleton pattern wouldn't use static fields. It's a single instance, but I don't want to be pedantic. I would totally agree with that. You could put static fields for some other reason that you might want, that you could justify those. I can see a way of justifying static fields, but I totally agree with you that if you're going to use a singleton, you don't need to have static fields. You would do it all as instance fields, and the instance would hold on to those things. Sad Stag says, I love the goatee, by the way. Yeah. Sad Stag, welcome. Follow us if you're not already. We're trying to do some fun stuff here. Okay. So, I've got this add UI element. Maybe I'm going to call this add element over tile. Is what I think I want to do. And I'm going to call this tile for now because I kind of like this. I'm going to call this tile. So there's add element over tile. So now what I want to do next is I want to say, just to make this flexible, I'm going to say selector panel, I don't know, is equal to get selection selector panel. Like here I am right now thinking, am I going to regret calling this selector? Just so everybody knows, you know, we're at a high risk of a major accident occurring on the show. I have this water bottle filled with just slushy ice, and I just went for take a drink, and it just went sliding, boom, and I just dropped the pitch just enough to keep it from just going like that. But we are at risk, kids. There is danger on this show. All right, let's go base this on get room floor. Which is let's do this. Let's duplicate that, get selector panel. I want to call this, I want to go with kind of a blue for this. And I'm going to make it pretty high saturation blue. Like right in here. Jetsam. We are always at risk, Mark. Yeah, you are always at risk. Okay, I want to get that tile rectangle. But I want to come in and I want to say, hey, selector.opacity. I'm going to make it equal to 0.3 for now. So we can at least see them. Everything should go a tint of blue. At least over every... Uh-oh. Hold on. This is only going to be put selectors where there are spaces in the map. Hold on. We might need to change the way we're doing this. I'm not going to change anything low level. Okay, so there's my get selector panel. And we want to also similarly add this over the tile. come on, what's the fastest way? I'm worried about... So the problem I have is that some of the spaces, everything in map spaces are where the room or corridor is. But then we have the background. That's, essentially all these areas right over here that are in black, right? But I need to have, things there so I can select and click on them as well. The question is how to build those in, right? Do I change my map so that it's just a full-on two-dimensional array of spaces? Or do I change the UI so that the UI has also got selectors in empty areas? That's the question. Now that I asked it, I'm like, I don't really have a good answer for this yet. So we got to get the empty spaces. And the other thing is we actually have to, there's something else we have to do. The tile needs to know what its selector is. And the selector needs to know what the tile is, I think. Maybe it's just that. No, because I want to say select room. I got to go grab the whole thing and come back out. I could put them in completely different, just create a separate class for the selection, which is arguably good anyway because the selection needs to do a lot of things, and then create something that allows the selection to talk to the map. That might be the better way to do it, and the map to talk to the selection. Is the problem that the walls don't exist in the map array? That's exactly well, it's not, the walls, everything that's in black does not exist. So there's nothing here in the array. The array's just null here. I think, well, it's not that hard. Hold on a second. It's not super hard to add these in, and the data impact is negligible. Yeah. In fact, it's right here. I could do that. Let's play in this space for a second. All right. Okay. Okay. So I think it looks like this. This is what I'm playing with right here. So empty space is there. Yeah, I like this better. Space type. All right. I have another random question. Why are abstract classes only inherited? Okay. That's not too hard to explain. Let's look at that. So if I have an abstract class here, abstract like this, that means that it does not fully implement itself. Its details. Like that. So I've got a class called does not fully implement its details. If that's the case, that means I'm going to say what details I want descendants to fully implement. So I might come in here and I say, let's create a method that returns a string, like that. And let's also make this abstract as well. And we'll make it public. And it's going to be like get name, like that. And then we're going to do that. So that's my declaration. So I've got a class that does not fully implement its details. My descendants are going to implement it. So that means if I create a descendant of this, I might come in here and say descendant that does interesting things, like this, and that's going to descend from does not fully implement its details. Then we're going to come in here, and if we hover over this, there should be an error. See potential fixes. Implement abstract class. So we'll go ahead and take that, and now it's overriding get name, and now we can do something interesting here, like return best class names are greater than 50 characters long. Seems good. Sure. Yeah, maybe not. Cool. Like this. So there's my override. Fine. We're going to give this something else, like, we'll call this like the, we'll just call this like the base name provider. How's that? You feeling better? And then we're going to come down here and we're going to call this one the cool name provider. Like that. Happier? Okay. So now we have a less contrived example. Okay. Now, one thing I should point out is when you see the example just like this, it's kind of like, wait, why would I do that? It's not super interesting in an architecture. What gets interesting is when you have multiples of these, right? I come down in here and I've got my other name provider right down in here, like this. And this does something different, okay? And now I can create instances of this and instances of the other and swap them in and out as I'm running the program, right? Or choosing which one I want to use. And it does, you know, these things differently. Like instead of get name, it might be something like, let's rename this, call this like encode message, right? And it might have something that, a way of encoding the message, and you can choose different tools almost, right? What's the tool going to do when I click down with the mouse? Right? What's the class going to do? What's the instance going to do when I suggest I want to encode something? I use this pattern all over the place in the Dungeons and Dragons app. We've got these functions. Here, let's go look at that. You can take a look at this, and it's incredibly powerful. In my expression engine, I've got these functions, and look at all these functions I've got here. They do different things, but here's get roll, for example. All of these descend from D&D function. And we go in there, look at that. It's an abstract class. And it's got a function called evaluate. It's got some protected things that are helper methods that descendants can call. It's a great use of the abstract architecture, right? And this pattern of creating an abstract class that says, here's what I want my descendants to do, right? But because I can never create an instance of it, because it's abstract, it's only useful for the purposes of descending, right? That's the answer to your question. Why is it? Why are abstract classes only inherited? Because you can only descend from them. And look at Coding Gorilla out there with additional useful reading on the subject. Upstack HQ is now following. So, thanks for that follow, Upstack HQ. glad to have you out there as a follower. Yeah, so that's the answer to that question, I think. Hopefully that was helpful. By the way, this is a beautiful architecture that's working over here with these, because these expressions, these functions that you're seeing are for our expression evaluation engine, which means if I want to add some new function or method to my expression evaluator, all I need to do is create a new class, a new descendant, and that's it. I implement my abstract methods, like whatever my override pieces are. Oh, notice this, I'm overriding a property called name. Look at this. Let's drill into function. It's an abstract class, but look, it descends from D&D token. Oh, it's not abstract, it's virtual. But it's got this virtual name string property right in here, which allows descendants to override it. And it's got a virtual handles. So it provides this kind of default functionality, like asking the question, hey, are you this token? But in a descendant, I could create an override of that, which I've got in my variables, I've got the D&D character property, where I do this mind-blowing stuff, where I override handles. Where are you? Here it is. Here's my override of handles. So instead of taking the default implementation, I do an override and I check, hey, is this name that we're accessing in the script an actual name that maps to the class itself? And if it is, let's just give you the property, the value of that property using reflection. So it's this architecture that allows me to create these crazy complicated scripts. Here, let me give you an example. Get a couple of these up here. So I've got these scripts that describe the Dungeons and Dragons game, like over here in spells. Let's go over to Melf's Minute Meteors. That's one we built here on the show. And I've got this script here that describes how, whoops, what did I do? That's whatever I did. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever key. I think I hit Control Escape. We're gonna go. We got to go scroll back down to get it. Here it is, right here. So I've got this spell that shows how to cast the spell, including asking a question, how many meters do you want to send? And these are the answers that are available. Then I call another function, tell DM how many meters are coming, right? Then I set these variables, and the variables are tied to the player automatically. I'm going to call add animation.
Genescu 7, where are you? We need your help.
Uh-oh, kids.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Genescu 7. Whoa, look out! That's not okay!
Here.
Good job!
I am.
Give it to him! Genescu 7 is here, kids. Always good to have Genescu 7 with us. I just realized, oh yeah, no, there we go. Mr. Announce Spot said hi. Genescu 7, good, how's it going? So all of these, add animation, add sound, complete cast, these functions I'm calling are declared in one of two places, but most of them are, wait, why can't I hit escape to get out of this? What's going on? There we go, got out of it. But a lot, they're either here or declared in another place that I'm not going into. But they're using this architecture where we say ancestor class, they're doing two things. One is they're using an architecture that is an ancestor class that declares abstract functionality, and the descendants override it or implement it. And the second thing they're using that makes the whole thing cool is a reflective inquisition into the app itself as it runs to find all of those descendants and then register them, so I don't have to go out separately and create a new instance and register it, which is a pain in the butt to do. So that's kind of what's going on there. Okay, so feel free to ask questions during the show, because, you know, if I know the answer, I'm happy to share it. So yeah, abstract classes are usually the examples, by the way, when you're learning abstract classes, involves one abstract ancestor and one descendant. But in real life, that almost never happens. You often have one abstract class and a bunch of descendants that offer different ways of solving the problem. You can similarly solve the problem with interfaces. where you have an interface that declares what the thing is going to do. The reason you choose an abstract class instead of an interface is if you want to provide some base helper functionality, like you saw over in the example of the in the ancestor class D&D token, where this base functionality is provided for most of the descendants and used for most of the descendants, and rarely do we want to diverge from it. That's where you want to go with an abstract class instead of a interface. Okay? Okay, so now I've created this empty space, and now I just got to make sure the code all works. Floor space descends from it. So now what happens? Ooh. Let's do this instead. I want to change this because of the way I saw that other thing going in here. I want to call this base space, I think, is what I want to call this. And I think I don't want data here. Because if you're empty, you don't need data. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to get rid of that right down there. And we'll get rid of this line of code. This is going to be called base space right here. This is going to descend from base space. So let's do that. Not liking the rhyming there. Boom. We're going to get rid of map region too here. So map region and data we need to add to the descendants of this. So that's gone. It's called base, pass in column and row, like that. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of that, I think. All right, let's go find the descendant of empty space and change that to base space, like this. So I basically want to create it so they diverge a little bit. Base space at the top, floor space goes that way, empty space goes that way. That's what I want to do. So now I need data down here. So data is of type object, like this. Then I'm going to say data equals data, like this. And this is kind of this rare, I don't do this a lot, but sometimes I think, yeah, I have a pretty good idea. I want to store additional data. That's what I think I want to do. And I want to get rid of it here. So there's floor space. Base space, I'm just hitting tab to next reference here on it. And there's empty space. Let's go put this in its own file. Now, that means, we can go back to map, go to the declaration for spaces, and spaces is not a list of floor spaces, but it's a list of base spaces. Now we need to do some checking here. And we want to say, hey, if, oh, not floor space, this should be base space. So I want to say if tile is floor space, like that. Add element over tile. This is going to be base space, like that. Okay, feeling a little bit better. Else, hold on. Let's do this. So I'm gonna say get empty space. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I actually don't want to add the element. I think. Let me undo this. Sorry, kids. Then I want to, yeah, I'm just going to add it over the tile. This is, I think, the code I want. Get selector panel. Did I write that? Yeah, I did. Okay, so there's get selector panel. Add element over tile. It's going to put it in the right position. Get selector panel. Do I got an on click on this? I really hope I do. Oh, do I have a mouse down? Well, I got a mouse down. So we're gonna just check this out and see what's going on here. Now, when I get the selector, let's call this floor UI. Now I'm going to come back. Yeah. I'm totally playing with where I'm putting this. Oh, I think, let me check this. Yeah. This bugs me so much. The choice to make this class sealed, meaning I cannot descend from it, from my perspective, is absolutely wrong. I think shape's got the same problem, or no? No, shape is abstract. Yeah, it's totally wrong. Because now what I want to do is I want to create a descendant of a rectangle that's specific, that has specific properties added to it, that I can then manipulate it so I can go look at the rectangle and see, well, what's the tile that you're connected to? I don't have that access. I don't have the ability to do that. So I've got to use other existing properties because I cannot create a descendant of it, like its tag property, for example. Yeah, not happy about that. Okay, for example, I want to be able to, change this class to something else, and then I want to be able to come into selector panel and say, hey, your floor is equal to floor UI or something like that. But I don't have access to that. So instead, I'm going to come in and say selector panel dot tag. Do I not have a tag either? Oh boy. Oh, because it's UI element. Hold on. Framework element. Let's do that. And I think I got tag now. There we go. So now I can come in here and say tag, which is this stupid, not easy to read way of coding, and say tag is equal to tile. So I can just connect the selector to the tile, but I also want to connect the other way around. I want to say tile dot select. Do I want to do this? Hold on. Tiles in base space, which is in map core. So to get from the selector to the tile, we can go typecast tag to the tile type, the base space type, get its column position, and yeah, we can go in that direction. To get from the tile to the selector, I guess we can compare the tag. I guess we can we're just gonna add some code. It's in UI, it's in what I call UI time frame, which is essentially the user does something and you've got about 150 milliseconds. If you can get your code done in 150 milliseconds, then it appears instantaneous. So you don't need, the question about whether it needs to be most efficient or not is not something you necessarily have to answer. Okay. What else? By the way, I'm going to be speaking in April in Austin. If any of you folks out there are in Austin, Texas, in the United States, I'll be speaking, I think, April 2nd at VS Live in Austin. So you can see the Science of Great UI out there and see me in person if you like to do that. Okay, so my selector tag goes to the tile like that. We're going to add it over that element. And I think that might be it. We've got a mouse down on it. While watching you and your code makes me sad that I know very little about C#. Don't be too sad, DJ Bass 101. We'll cheer you up. What do I have here? How about some happy...
Excellent.
Or...
Awesome.
There you go. I know very little about C#. I got decent knowledge experience with JavaScript, but it just starting my first Unity project, and wow, so much to wrap my head around. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that, part of the, part of the way to succeed is judiciously deciding how to spend your time on what you're going to learn and what you're going to leave alone. And being able to decide that and make those choices along the way, I think is good. I guess it all comes with time and experience. Got to start somewhere. Sure. Why not? Why not? And, we're hanging out here learning stuff. Oh, look at this. I'm floating above space right over here. I've got to adjust some of my camera, so in some of my scenes. Let's get me back down to that space right there. All right, I'm just checking. Okay. All right, so let's run it. Let's look for that selector mouse down. Let's look for the change in color. Let's see if we can run actually. Okay, cool. Why doesn't floor space have a parent? Did I delete the parenting? Yes, I did. I forgot about region. Okay. Where's the other one of these? Here we go. That looks like a bug to me. Hold on, let me undo that a second. Let's mark the bug. And we're dog fooding CodeRushed, which is an add-in to Visual Studio. And so if I find any bugs along the way, I want to report them. Where was I? Let's go back. Oh, parent, I said undo. There we go. There's my undo. Let's go back over to where we were. And let's get to the errors. We were not here. We were... By the way, kids, if I can't reproduce, kids, when I say kids, devs on the dev team, roll back like 30 seconds before the start time and you can watch the bug occur. Hold on. This is where I was, I think. Here. All right, so I'm here and I want to declare this. I'm assigning to region, it's of type map region. So I'm expecting the declared type to be of type map region, but it's object instead. That's the bug. So coders should be smarter than that. I'm not sure why that's the case. So do I need log files? Maybe. Declare property Mrs. Type. Let me do one other thing. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, this is the first exception. That's okay. This is an okay exception to have. Let's get out of there. I don't need my debugger break here. Well, I can't get rid of that yet. It looks like we're okay. All right. So there we go. MRXS is now following. Looks like it restarted it. Or stopped it. We're here. So we're running. Yeah, it's not good. We just restarted our overlays. Oh, we got Rory calling in. Hey, Rory. But I can't hear Rory. Hold on a second. Looks like I'm talking to him. Hold on, Rory. Let's see, why can't I hear you? Go into my settings. Yeah, it looks like. Hold on. There we go.
It was that incredible intelligence of mine that managed to push the mute button.
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? I'm doing good. It feels like such a long time since we spoke.
It's been forever. Jetson's back. Yeah. Did restarting the overlays just work? I bet the drone game's not working now. Let's refresh the drone game. We'll get some music restarted here. Excuse me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It feels like December has been kicking my proverbial behind.
Yeah.
Only insofar as apparently all the social things want to happen this month, and therefore extracurriculars are so hard to sort of find space for. So my apologies for not being around on multiple occasions. Apparently I'm more social than I expected I was.
Oh, well, cool.
But there we go.
Good for you.
I am back, however. I have preserved today, tomorrow, and as many forward as I can. So I'm back.
New list of base. Well, good. I'm like in the middle of, doing some stuff as usual. We're working on the selection for the map editor, so we can select multiple tiles. What is it? We're almost there.
I saw your
empty
encounter with the
space.
bug, and I thought I'll wait until he's finished reporting that, and then I'll dial in, because otherwise that would have caused problems.
Yeah, so base space. Wait, what's wrong with empty space? Why isn't, oh, is empty space, just takes these two. Like
Bennett is in the house.
I've had it, Humpty Dumpty. You pull yourself together. I've got a stream to watch. How you doing, Will Bennett? And Will says, welcome back, Rory.
Yes, indeed. That's very nice.
Yeah. Will Bennett is I don't know if you kids know this or not, but Will Bennett.
Miller!
Wait a second. I just hit the Will Bennett button and said Miller. Let me try that again.
Will Bennett rocks.
That was bizarre. Oh, no.
I think
Will
he's in the
Bennett
chat
typed
room
it
as
in.
well.
In reference to your explanation on abstract classes, should say you should always use interfaces. I disagree. If you want to have base functionality up there, what you describe as a strategy pattern, there's nothing preventing you from adding an abstract class for a family of implementers. Okay, fine. Fine. Using an abstract class locks you into a family. Sure, I don't mind locking my classes into a family. I don't mind that. FutureMark thanks you for adding the empty spaces. That's the null object pattern essentially. Look at Will. So smart. Well, why aren't you doing a show and why am I not watching you? I don't get that. Mark pulls bait and switch when you're not here, Rory. He knows we're only here for you, so he waits 10 minutes before the stream ends and says, oh yeah, Rory won't be with us today. That might have happened yesterday.
In fairness, the absence is still entirely my fault. It's not Mark's fault.
Suckers! I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if it runs still. We're looking for the pattern with the, what do we got here? Floor space, oops, base space. All right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I suppose I might want to, hold on a second here. Space array, build map array. No, this is for finding the rooms out, right? And then I think I want to do this. If space is floor space, then we'll call it floor space like that. Then we're going to come in and do this. So I'm just kind of like adding in some empty elements here is what I'm doing in where the map was like 0.
Sure.
Can we get music back here? There we go. We apparently can. Okay. What other problems are we going to get? Oh, I wanted to have the next reference on spaces to see if there's any other assumptions that it's going to be of type floor space. Something went wrong. I'll show you.
Ooh. That's like, am I right? That looks visually like two layers have been placed at sort of 90 degrees to each other.
Yeah, I think I've got a column row problem.
Yeah.
Muzak. Yeah, I think I got a column row problem is what I got. Should be easy and fast to switch. I think I've just been, I bet it's in the constructor for empty space. Column row. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Base space. Is it up in base space? Base column row. These look right. Wait, hold on. Columns first, rows next. Column first, rows next. Column first, rows next.
Coding Gorilla says he thinks you have a problem with an if-else, with a lack of an else someplace.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's entirely related to this. However, we should be on the lookout for that.
Floor space. Am I putting column and row? Column, row. Ah, here's my problem.
Column just there, empty space.
That's my problem right there. Okay. I think, did I use duplicate line to get this? No, apparently not. I don't know how I did that. Okay.
I did see you removing the additional parameter from that just before I joined you. So it does smack of some kind of a duplication, albeit...
Yeah, but you know what? I just used duplicate line, and I was wondering if duplicate line transposed these two, because that would be a possibility. All right, here we go. Way better.
Okay.
And now we can see we've got a blue tint. What just happened? I just hit control. That's weird. Control. There we go. So now we've got a slight blue tint, right? That's our selection indicator that's around everything. And, oh, wow, look at this. Oh, this is because I've got, that's all right. That's not a problem with WPF. That's something else. That's my zoom it coupled with my display driver problem. Okay.
Okay. So what do we got here on the map, Mark? Because I've been away. You look like you've got some rooms and passages connecting them with maybe walls.
Yeah, I generated. Yeah, that's exactly the idea. I generated it using donjon.bin.sh/fantasy/dungeon. I'll put this over in the chat room. So I'm not sure, Coding Gorilla, what you're talking about. If you see that, so borrow of Emerkle the Chaotic. So we can come in here and we can, set some options for this. Dungeon layout, dungeon size, room layout, complex, room size. Let's just try that and construct it, see what we get. So here's what we get. Check out these corridors over here on the right. And we can say, let's download the TSV map. And let's call it the Borrow of Emerkle the Chaotic. .text. Copy that to the clipboard. Save that. Let's go back to our app. Let's close this down. Inside the app, we're going to say we want to now bring in that. Run it. And what we're doing is we're bringing the map in, the TSV data, we're parsing it and calculating room size and what are the rooms and what are the corridors. And so we put these both side by side. You can kind of see these kind of how they're lining up here. Right?
Sure.
Compare those visually back and forth. Yeah, it looks good. It's not bad. The doors aren't placed yet, but we're definitely identifying rooms and corridors, which is useful for Dungeons and Dragons. Because when
rooms effectively with a width of 1.
Yep. Yeah, this is what we did in the last couple of days. So we had first we created one algorithm for detecting rectangular rooms. Then seconds before yesterday's show, I realized there's an option to create complex rooms, which are non-rectangular.
Sure.
And we changed the whole algorithm yesterday. We threw out a whole bunch of work and test cases and everything. So we created, amazing stuff. And it was actually harder for us to figure out the approach we were taking to finding rectangular rooms was a harder approach than it was to find non-rectangular rooms. So, we just were kind of, it was the hardest thing for me was giving up on the test cases, to have to throw them out because, test cases are super valuable.
They are.
The only thing I don't like about the dungeon generator, I really don't like it about this dungeon generator, is it puts doors in 5x5 squares. This is a door and that's a door. Instead of putting a door along the vertex here, which is where it should put it.
So the door occupies one of the squares,
Yeah,
rather than just being a barrier between two squares.
It's just not how architecture works. It's not. I don't like it at all. So as a result, I did some, hold on, let me bring this up. Oops, I gotta escape out of this. Oh, cool. Selector down. We'll respond to that in a second. I did some specking out on how we would
I gotta say, I like your specking. It's back to PowerPoint again, which, as we know, is possibly the best tool for specking out there.
So I'll bring you up to speed. This is stuff we did yesterday. Basically, a tile is going to be something that's going to be on the D&D floor. And this right here, we'll be able to take any image and throw tiles on top of it. So the tiles is just this piece right here that goes on top of it. Tiles are 60 pixels by 60 pixels. Rainbow's not working? Yeah, that's in the Dragonfront overlay, which I need to refresh. Let's go do that. And I think it's in the front overlay. Dragon back overlay, we're going to refresh those, both of these. We're going to reinitialize data. Yeah, we lost our signal R. I somehow shut down my, let's try and reinitialize the data. Is that going to work? I think we're going to have to, when we lose signal R in the overlays, we similarly lose it in the control app, the D&D control app, which is this thing right here. So I'm going to have to restart that. Let's close that down. Run it again. Waiting for it to finish closing. Or maybe I just got to hard reset it. Wait. There it is, finally. I couldn't stop it and I couldn't start it. I didn't know that was a state. Notice I'm floating in space right here. That happens sometimes when we change to other views. That's the Will Bennett Rocks one. Let's switch back over here. Back to normal. All right. We did the add selector over tile. Okay, let's go look for that. Hold on. I want to catch up with Coding Gorilla. He's trying to help us out here. Add selector over tile. Looks like rainbow worked. All of a sudden. Something. Let's see here. Somewhere in this space, I think. Here. Yeah, I think you're talking about this. I had an else here and I was playing with it and I took it out. I realized I didn't. I realized I didn't think I needed it, so I thought it was good. I just though did I need to even floor it? It doesn't even look like I need floor UI up out here. I can move that inside. By the way, never mind. I'm not going to complain. Okay. So let's see. D&D Spike out here. Let's initialize the player data. That's going to put our name tags, I think, in front. Maybe. Yeah, they're there. Cool. So the name tags are in front. I don't know if the dice are working today. I might have broken it this morning in the moments just before starting the show. I'll need to go take a look at that again. You want to see Fanfare, Dennis Goose 7's Fanfare?
Yeah.
Did you haven't been here, buddy? Have you
I
seen
haven't.
Have you seen Grover Soros's Fanfare?
I think maybe I did.
Okay.
But it is awesome.
All right, here comes Genescu 7. I'll show it to you one more time because it's brand new.
Genescu 7, where are you? We need your help!
Oh, no.
Oh, God, Aran.
Oh, thank goodness, Genescu 7. Can you get rid of this alien? He's causing trouble. Thank you.
Oh, I am.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing, Rory, after that?
That's really good, man. I like that.
Oh, you like it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Not bad. All right, so let's go back here. I think our else is good, is what I think is going on there. Spec. So each tile is 60 pixels by 60 pixels. I calculated this as a pretty decent size for zooming in. For example, this is a 60 pixel by 60 pixel image that I'm zoomed in here in the UI, and we can kind of make it work, right? If we zoom in a blurry way, it's okay because it's the background. It doesn't need to be in focus, right?
Are we imagining that a tile is a singular location where a player would be
Yes,
occupying?
it's a 60 pixels is equal to 5 feet
Okay,
across.
so a group of them could theoretically be in a single tile.
Yeah, and look at this. I was so excited about this. After I had made all the decisions and done some work, I realized later that that meant 1 pixel per inch, which is perfect because Dungeons & Dragons uses the Imperial system. And I was like so excited and elated that it just happened. The number I picked happened to work out exactly like that.
It's always nice when that happens.
Walls are going to look like this. So I'm going to be able to put walls along the vertexes. Okay? Room finding algorithm. We were kind of working through this yesterday. So we're kind of working through that. And we got to this point right here for how do we find an irregularly shaped room. And we came up with an algorithm that appears to work. So like if I'm here, I want to search these other 2 pieces over here, here, and here. That's what I want to do. In fact, I want to kind of enhance this a little bit. I want to, because I put some... I want to come in here, and I just want to make this really clear. What I want to do actually is I want to take these 3. I want to do 2 things. I want to take these 3, or these 2 right here. Let's make these 2 red, because I want to give them higher contrast. And then I want to put this arrow here, and I want it like this to indicate that, hey, this blue square is checking its neighboring red squares is what it's doing. So I'm going to just put this arrow here. Then I'm going to put this arrow here like this. And then I'm going to come up here and put this arrow up here. then, whoops, sorry, no, more like this.
So when you say room finding algorithm, is this purely the determination from any given square, am I part of a room rather than a part
Yes.
of a corridor?
It is, exactly.
And then you're going to purely react to that in a graphical way, because we've seen the color change, but is there any other basis on which you will then alter behavior?
Yeah, well, I'm going to know the room, and then when the player enters the room, I'm going to go to the script, the room's script, it's on enter event, on player enter first time, and I'm going to execute that event, whatever it is. Maybe it's playing a sound effect when I enter a room, right? Maybe it's spawning a bunch of random monsters, whatever it is.
So you'll have numbered the rooms, you'll have given them some kind of an identity to which you then attach scripts and presence of persons, creatures, what have you,
Right.
traps and things. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So I want to change these images right here to use the one that we're using. So here I've got the image, this image from the bottom one looking out. I just didn't like the one I was using before. And now let's paste this in right here like this. Let's scale it down like that, so it's a little smaller. And now we kind of have something that's a little more representative of the code that's here. So I'll just come in here. I got this whole thing selected. Is that right? Nope, not. Let's group it. Whoops, group it. And then let's rotate it like that. Copy that to the clipboard. Actually, you know what else I want to do? I want to scale it down so it's already the right size. Let's do that. So I don't want to scale over here. Let's kill that image. Let's paste this new one in. Good. Now I want this one. So this one's looking from the bottom left to the upper left. Copy that. And I want to paste it here. So I've got that image there. And then we'll come down to here like this. Do the same thing. So basically what this is doing is this picture is explaining what the logic of the line of code that follows and what it's doing and looking at.
Yes, it's indicating the specific neighbors that are being checked.
Yes, exactly. So here, column +1 and row +1 is this one down here, right? And column row +1 is this one over here. I could theoretically also just create 3 different images and stick them out at the edge of each of these columns. I could do that as well to show what each one is, which might also be an interesting way of documenting it. But the cool thing about this is without these pictures, it's hard to see what's going on. And now with the pictures, I have a really clear sense of what each bit of code is doing. Okay. Now, we want to look at the mouse down. Now we have to actually do some hard work. In order to get the mouse hit, we can verify this, but get selector panel. If we change opacity to 0, remember we got that mouse down before, we got the breakpoint. I'm pretty sure if it's mouse opacity is 0, we're going to get no mouse down because that's WPF.
So opacity is not just visual in this sense; it is actually physical in that you'll not, if you're not visible, you can't get clicked. Is that what
I
you're
was
saying?
wrong. I was wrong. Ignore what I said because I was wrong. We actually got a mouse down on it, which is sweet because it's right on top of it. So now we need to manage the selection. And the thing is, we've got 2 separate pieces. We've got, the question is, where's my selection being managed? Right? And where is it being shown? Right? Yep. And right now I'm in my main window XAML.cs, and I'm about to get into trouble if I put my select. I think what I have to do is I have to put my selection class elsewhere, and I have to work with that class is what I need to do. So I've just got the mouse down on selection. We have to kind of look at how selections work. I'm going to go ahead and run this for a second while we kind of think about this out loud. But let's do this. Let's create, let's look at Google Sheets. Google Sheets is similar to what we're doing. So if I mouse down, it marks this as selected.
Yes.
If I drag, look what's happening.
It's figuring out the
rectangle
sets of cells between those 2 points on a rectangle.
Right, and watch what happens. And what?
And it's presuming that you meant to select all of them, not
Yes.
just the ones you happen to pass over.
And so I've got this anchoring, right? This concept of an anchor selection, right? And then I move, and now when I release, interesting. It keeps the anchor, and it keeps the whole thing. And it also draws a second. We don't really need to keep the anchor. In fact, I'm not sure we need to even highlight it like this, because I think the anchor is kind of clear from where you click and where you drag to. So what I'm going to do, I want to do something similar, right? So if we're down, we need to capture the mouse and keep running with it. And we need to mark the anchor somewhere. So I think what we need to do is we need to get the tile. We need to say this. Let's do this. Selection is something that's really only going to exist from the main window. So I want to create a new class up here.
You've kind of got a start tile and a current end tile almost.
Yeah, we're going to put those things in it. So we're going to call this our selection, our selector, our super
is arguably
mega
the
selector
mouse selection is
engine.
the data storing.
Oh, look at you.
information about.
Yeah, I'm not liking that class name. It's the, what about the mega awesome selection engine? We'll play with that for now. Or we just go with it, selection engine.
I'm
just
good either way.
I imagined the really awesome programmers out there going like rolling their eyes. Oh my God. Who else is streaming right now? Okay, so we're going to call this the selection engine. I'm going to pop this out to its own file. We're going to come over here and we are going to create some sort of a variable of that type, selection engine. And I think we're going to come right in here and we're going to say that's equal to new selection engine. We're just going to pop that baby up there and create a new instance of it.
Okay.
So now we've got the selection engine. Down here and our mouse is down. I think we need to say selection engine dot start selection, which means it's going to set the anchor. And we need to get the tile. So let's do this. We are going to say, here, by the way, get selector panel is here, and its tag is the tile, which is of type base space. Okay, so back over here, I want to say get base space, I guess, from sender dot tag, like that. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to pass in only sender is my question. Yeah, I think it's too much. Get base space. Granted, we could do this. We could just simply do this. If sender.tag is base space, like that, then selection started. Yeah, it's not bad.
We're still going to have to cast sender from
Oh,
object
you're right.
to
It's a framework element. It's
Yeah.
almost like this. If sender is a framework element. Work element. And framework element dot tag is that. So we've got this kind of gross line of code. That's what I was trying to avoid. And I'm really gonna, hold on, we're gonna pass sender is what we're gonna do. Can I extract this? What does it give me? Okay. Whoa, what's it giving me here though? It doesn't like that. The out parameter must be assigned. Interesting. That's a bug in Visual Studio's extract method. Will Bennett wants mega awesome selection engine. Maze. Class Maze. I could call it the Z-lection engine.
I love the way that you can pronounce it maze, like, a dungeon that you have to find your way through.
Yeah, no, I like
Just
that too.
loops back quite
I'm
well.
going to undo this.
Mass.
Yeah, I'm going to send this to you, Rory. Oh, I just realized I'm not sharing my screen with you. Let's go get that. Let's go do that. So you can get the computer sounds on it. Yeah, so when you heard... Sorry, what did you say?
Audio is back.
Yeah, I just realized you saw Genesis 27s, but you didn't hear it. So you'll have to.
I didn't like to say anything.
But you hang in a lot.
Visuals were very good.
You hang out a lot with us, so you'll probably hear it again.
True.
Here's what I want to do, though, Rory. I want to send you this chat. And I want you to send me an email on this, and I want to report this to our good friends at Microsoft so they know about it. So I'm just sending that to you. Just send that to me in an email so I can report it. Yeah, I think what I need to do is, I want to do this. Get base space like this from send. I don't pass in sender to it like this. And I actually want to do this. I want to say base space is equal to that. That's what I want to do. Are you sending me that email right now? Because you're so awesome.
Tapping something out right now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's declare this. So we're going to say this. If that, then return base space, otherwise return null. And, okay, then we want to do, if it's null, get out. And then selection engine starts selection base space. Let's declare it. Good. Let me undo this a second. Oh yeah, that was really nice. Notice the usings here, only system and system.link. And let's go back to where we were. Start selection declare. It's going to add the using for us automatically there. Nice. Okay, so there's my start selection. So that happens there. The other thing we need to do is out on this space, we need to do a capture. Shoot. And I need the framework element to do a capture on it. I don't know. What I thought was going to be useful code is, I don't know. Maybe it's still useful. We'll see. Framework.capture mouse. I love, by the way, the documentation for capture mouse. So I'm going to bring it up again. Attempts to force capture of the mouse to this element. I love it.
Can you add an out parameter to get base space, which would be the framework element already cast to be a framework element?
Yeah.
Make it available.
I could. I don't know. I'm really not. I'm not seeing crazy benefits either way on this. It's like, we'll see.
To be fair, it is a little bit of a strange behavior to do in a single method.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, let's do this for now. So there we're going to go do capture mouse. Now, once we get the mouse captured on this, we are going to... Do I want to capture it? Maybe I don't want to capture it here. Maybe I want to capture it on canvas.
Just to clarify, the act of capturing means that when you move off the surface of the thing that you are mouse downing on, and you're moving around outside of its peripheral sort of space, that you will still be maintaining knowledge of mouse move and so forth.
Yeah.
You'll still be receiving those events.
Yeah, here's why I'm playing with this space. I'm thinking, oh, let it capture them instead, because otherwise we're going to create all these event handlers that are going to be crazy inefficient for every single tile on the map. And I really just need the mouse down.
as a sort of trigger point to tell something else to start capturing.
Yeah, and then in CVS Map, I can have, if we come over there, we can create our mouse move, that sort of thing. Mouse move and mouse up, which is what we need.
Yep. It reminds me of some naive implementations. You ever seen the Conway's Game of Life? It's a cellular automaton thing. And I've seen implementations where people try to teach the cell how to use to do its behavior. So it says, like, if there's, I think it's 3 cells around you which are alive, you're allowed to become alive and what have you. And they build all the OO stuff into a cell, not realizing that when you want to scale this up, you're going to have thousands and thousands of cells, all of which now are attempting to do processing.
Right.
Where a more efficient algorithm will have the board, the game board, or the grid, or whatever you want to call it, do that processing iteratively on all the cells and just treat the cells as data. So it can be a lot more efficient to do that way. And so what you're doing is exactly the same. You're avoiding attaching an event to absolutely every single floor tile, because that would be inefficient. Instead, choosing to process it at a much more sensible location in the hierarchy.
That's what I'm trying to do. So let's do this. We now have mouse move and mouse up. I want to do 2 things. I want to say, let's go into we're going to keep this really simple, but in our selection engine, so we've got start selection. When we call start selection, I'm going to say selecting is equal to true, like that. And then I'm going to come in here. Let's declare that as a field, like that. Oh, why not? Let's encapsulate it and use the property instead. And let's make this auto-implemented. We'll just do it that way. Selecting, okay? So now I can come down over here and say, hey, if selection engine dot selecting, I'm going to call this just selection. And if not, then we're going to get out. Otherwise, we're going to say selection dot select to, and then we got to find its tile. But we just wrote that function to called get base space of sender, right? So we're going to find the tile. Oh wait, no, that's not going to work because we are the sender. We just lost our sender. Okay, so I'm going to go back with inefficient.
Yeah?
I know. If I go back, because this isn't going to work, we're going to have to do some math to figure it out. Well, I could still do this, but I'd have to check to see if we're at canvas. If we're canvas, then I want to figure out what our position is in the canvas and calculate the space underneath it. No, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this no matter what. So now we need to say get base space under mouse and pass in e dot position, get position relative to CVS map. Then we're going to say, if not null, then we're going to call selection.select to base space. PowerCat came in, the fanfare didn't play. Oh no, PowerCat snuck in with the disabling. I don't know why anybody would want to disable their long over-the-top fanfare. Indeed. Yeah, that shows. This is how cool PyroCat is, right? PyroCat is like the good guys that walk away from the blowing up explosions, doesn't even look at it, right? That's the equivalent of what PyroCat just did. Don't need to look back. Yeah, Will Bennett wants to play the fanfares. I don't think I have a fanfare command, Will. I don't think you can do that. We can add one, but, hey, if somebody, wants to sneak in, let's let them sneak in. But welcome, PyroCat. Glad to have you with us.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you with us. Oh, Will's sad. Who likes Pyrocats fanfare?
It is a good fanfare.
We have to respect the privacy of the individual. We have to do
Yes.
that. Okay, get base
He
space.
snuck in and we spent 3 minutes talking about him.
All right, here we go. This often happens, right? We're like, wait, what's wrong? Is there a problem with the system?
Exactly, that's it. Isn't it?
Michael Jolly's here. What's going on? All right, so declare. Let's declare the method. Select 2. Now we got to do something here. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to say anchor equals base space. All right, so let's create this. Declare that as a property.
I thought we were setting the anchor on the start selection.
Oh, you're right. We're calling this caret. That's the caret.
There we go.
And we're going to create another one called anchor. And we're going to set it on the, like this. And we're going to set anchor in here to that. Like that. Okay, cool.
There we go.
Didn't want to interrupt the flow of your thoughts at that precise moment. Well, at that precise moment. Then in that case, here we go, kids. Woo! That was a close one, wasn't it? Whoa, what the? Okay, look over there. Look over there. Good job, Pyrocats. Woo! Nice. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. It's fun. Yeah. Selection engine. Groversaurus is also one of my favorites. I'm going to maybe not do it right now, but I'm going to do it. Here it comes. Ready? Here's Groversaurus.
I love trash.
This is me. By the way, Roy, this is me, buddy. I went to acting school to learn how to do this. Like that and like
It's
this.
very good.
Yeah.
So I've got the live connection with you on my left-hand monitor, and I've got the stream showing in a monitor just to the right of that. And as Groversaurus exited the right-hand side of my left monitor, because of the exact delay between the two, he started entering on the other side. It was
That
as if
is
he
so
walked across two
awesome.
screens. It was exactly on point.
Well, how fun is that? That's awesome. Okay, so we've got start selection, select 2. There's our capture mouse. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. In fact, I don't even need this. Okay, we're just going to flat out capture the mouse if we get a mouse down on a tile. Get base space under mouse. We need to do that. And then I think we need something like this. We need something that says commit selection. Selection.commit. Which I'm not exactly sure what it looks like yet. Like maybe I'm because I'm so not sure. I think it may live up here. Okay. So get base space under mouse. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, and we're probably going to have off by 1 errors I'm anticipating in this. But we need to I think it's going to look like this. When do the D&D streams start? Mildly curious on what this tooling is for. So D&D streams start on January 12th. That's our current go date. That's over on twitch.tv/dragonhumpers. That's the link.
Wait.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, I think. We've got some funny players, some players who have experience with improv, and we're building the engine. The mapping may not be working by then. I'm not anticipating necessarily the mapping working. We have a live camera map instead, but when this thing is done, it's going to look gorgeous based on the my research and what I've done so far with it, and what we can do. So I'm settling upon an easy, fast way to build the map, to build the overhead views of the players, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's see. This is going to be, we're going to call this column, and we're going to say no, we're not. We're going to say I've got a map. Here's a property. Get pixels to column row. I know Will Bennett is going, oh my God, Mark, will you please just do row columns? But I don't like the switch between X, Y, and row and column. So this is going to be, out int column. So column corresponds to the X, and then out int row, like that. That feeling when you settle down to watch some Twitch and you start getting priority 1 notifications of critical system failures. Be back later, maybe.
Good luck, Pyrocat.
Yeah, that's not good. Pixels to column row. We're going to call that. Let's go declare that. Put this over here. I'm putting it down here so I can test it as well. This is going to be out column. This is going to be out row. Like that. And we're going to say column is equal to X mod. Oops, that's not mod. That's mod. Pixels per 5 feet. Oh man. I need to feet per square, pixels per 5 feet. I'm playing with this idea of switching this, pixels per inch. I want to have a pixel per inch and then, inches per square or tile, inches per tile side. I'm playing with this idea of breaking this into 2 different pieces right here. Right now, pixels per 5 feet is 20, but it really should be 60. We'll change that for now. What's wrong here? What am I doing wrong? Is it 2 of these? Convert a double to an int. Okay. So I'm just going to say math dot. Well, I guess I can implicitly do it. So CI is going to give me a typecast to an int, a real fast CodeRushed template there. Is that going to solve it? I need 2 sets of parens.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem with the design of the C# casting. Typecasting here requires extra effort on the part of the developer. I would argue that this is about $1 million productivity mistake every year. That had they come up with a better way of casting, in other words, had this been their casting mechanism instead, where I only require 1, I'd save $1 million worth of productivity every year. If you're talking about how many folks out there, there's like 6 million, 6 to 8 million, maybe 12 million Visual Studio developers, even more. Right? And C# developers, it's got to be even greater than that, probably 20 million. So easily $1 million a year mistake in terms of lost productivity. All right, so come down here. We're going to say row, duplicating the line is equal to that, and then this is going to change to Y. And I think that's the method.
That looks good.
And I think it's not bad. We might be off by 1 or something, but I think we got a shot of not even being off by 1. Or detectively not even be off by 1. So there we're calling pixels to column row. Now we want to go in and say, am I remembering correctly that map is an array? What is map? No, it's spaces inside of map is an array, I think. Is it down here?
I've seen an array. I'm not sure.
Oh, it's in a list. No, wait, it's map array. Ooh, but map array is a floor space. Ah, not a base space. Hold on, let's see where map array is used.
So what's the difference between map space and, base space and floor space?
Floor is something a player can stand on, and
Okay.
base space is an ancestor class, and then
So
empty
could-
space
Right.
is something that nobody can stand on. So player can't stand on empty space. I want to change this to floor array, is what I want to do. So now I've got floor array, and now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make base space. I know this is maybe a little bit extra, but let's try it. We're going to call this the base all spaces array.
So is that an endeavor to try to find, I don't know, some kind of optimization? So if you've got a floor space array, you will have anywhere the player can walk, and then a bunch of nulls in the other locations.
Yep.
Okay.
And so the build map array is here. Shoot, I really want to. Oh. Build map array is actually assigning right to floor array. Let's change this to build map arrays, like this. And well, let's just do this. Let's kill this. Let's just reference it right here because it's already declared. Whoops. I meant to do floor array. That's what I meant to get. Okay, so no longer returning. And then I want to do one more of these. That's going to say, or actually no, I don't have to do one more. Just select both of those. And then down here I can say all spaces array is equal to space. Like that. Okay, you with me, Rory? So
I
I've got
am,
just a,
yeah.
okay, good. So I've got a floor array and an all spaces array.
So given that
Now-
you have both arrays, why would you ever reference the floor array?
Well, because I've got code here that's doing this, checking null. What I really could do, is that the only time I'm using this? Active space, and here again it's checking null. See what's going on? What we need to do instead is check to see if it's empty, and then we'll use only the one array, is what I'm going to
So
do.
you could mark the floor array as obsolete and have it suggest to you effectively that you use the all spaces array.
Yeah, I could do that, but I'm going to just do it all in one stage right now, I think.
Okay.
Well, I actually kind of like what you're suggesting too, though. But I don't need to do it too many times. The reference to it here is get floor space. What's happening in floor? See, and look here, floor space exists. Yeah, there's problems. There's a lot of problems in code on here. That's built on that floor spaces. I think
Is
instead.
your empty space a single instance as well? Or do you have multiple instances of those for different locations? Because you get this nice effect where you can go if is null, but you can't go if is empty because you have to check the type and what have you.
Yeah.
But if it was a single instance, you could actually go if is empty in the same location.
I didn't follow you, but because I'm kind of thinking about this, Rory, but I trust that you're right. So let's do this. Here's what I want to do. Yeah, I want to change this. I want to change the way we build this. I'm going to go, we're just going to bite the bullet and do everything right now. So we are going to flat out change floor space. Also, we're going to do all spaces array is what we're going to do. and it's going to be a new array of base spaces like that. Like that. There's that. Let's go find floor space, and we're going to kill it.
Okay.
There. We're going to actually, before we do it, we're going to rename it to this, and then we're going to kill it. Now we're going to go through it.
So it's still an array, so the various lengths are good. We're allocating base space, yeah.
Here's where we create it. Now we're going to say get floor space. We're going to say
It's just
as
the return type of that.
yeah.
Be
Floor
returning
space.
base space rather than floor space. Well, see, is that true?
This is going to work. This is going to work for this because we can't typecast the other one, the empty space,
What
to a floor
happens
space.
if you do a get floor space and the coordinates lead you to something that is an empty space?
The as will return null, so it's the same as before. So get
Okay.
floor space works everywhere. Now we're good on that. Here has 3 adjacent spaces. Here we need to call get floor space. See it? Get floor space right there. All right, that fix seems reasonable. All right, where else? Clear all spaces. Kit all rooms and corridors. Clear all spaces. Map array, hold on, clear all spaces. This has got to go to base space like this. This is where C#'s typecasting is beautiful. And then we're going to say as floor space. So this will continue to work. All right?
Yep.
So there's that. So clear all spaces works. Active space. I think we can come back here again and say get floor space. Column. Comma row. Like that. Let's go through all spaces array. Okay, so we're going to call this get floor space. Column row. Where's we got? Is that it? I think we did it. Okay.
So very close to that last adjustment you made, there was a if null or if the space type was none. Under what circumstances does that happen? That second clause.
Space type is not equal to none, meaning I've already found it and decided it's a room or a corridor.
Oh, I see. So yeah, okay. That sounds reasonable.
So basically, I'm just not doing the same work and preventing, potentially infinite loops, I suppose, as well, if I had recursion or something like that. So I'm just basically, if I already did the work or discovered what it is, I'm done. I'm out.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see where else. So I think we were nearby this using pixels to column row. So get base space under mouse. So now we want to say get. Wait, hold on. Get base space, get floor space. Okay, so we're good there. Hold on, let's go back. I don't want to get floor, well, let's jump into good floor space for now. Is it private? Is that why I can't get to it? Yeah. I'm just was typing that in to get me close to it. Now I'm going to type in get base space like that. like that. Copy that to the clipboard, get out.
Do you want to deal with empty space and null differently? Because it feels like they'd be the same thing, conceptually. So in base space, get base space, where you're determining that you're outside of the range of the map, you're returning null currently. Feels like you could return empty space.
No, I want to get null if we're out.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, if it's not legal, it's null. Okay, we're gonna get out of here if it's null. Then, or actually, we're just gonna return this. Sorry, I was thinking we would do more work here, but that's all we need to do. +1, Rory. You guys turn on me so fast.
I was not going to point that out. I was going to ignore that.
I don't want to give it something outside of that. So, because I've got this check right here, select 2. I could select 2 outside of that. Yeah, I don't feel like it's making sense to me.
Actually, that's interesting. That is a good argument, because you don't want the... If you click a cell inside the map, and then you drag way outside the map, and you release, you want to say that you don't want your selection to continue, or try to continue, outside of the map. So you want to distinguish that I either released on a valid, yet unoccupiable location, or I clicked outside the map, which is invalid for the selection. So there's a good reason there to distinguish between empty space, which is one of the options, and null, which I had not considered before.
Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do. When I start a selection, I want to set both my anchor and my caret to the base space.
Same value, so if you just click
What is
release
going
and do
on,
nothing,
Capsule?
it's a single cell selection.
Right, exactly. And I think I want to say selection changed. Let's create a trigger event for this, triggering function for this. Okay, so I'm going to always call it there. But here, I want to do this. So when we do a select 2, we'll have the on selection changed. And I'm totally debating with whether or not I should have an event here for called selection committed. From just implementing the UI standpoint, I don't really need it, but from the standpoint of testing, it might be useful. I'm going to hold off on this still. I've been thinking about it, and I'm just not sure whether we're going to do this or not. Okay, so selection is in here. We've got this, but what I really want to do, I want to take this out of here. And I want to move this down here, so we've got some code that's kind of close by together. I want to say selection dot changed. What's my event in there? Selection changed, and let's go get that event handler out there. Yeah, and now I've just decided I want to create a selection committed, like that. Create an event to trigger for that. Then I'm going to create a selection.commit method that we were going to try to, right here. Look at this. You can tell I've been thinking about it. Commit. Not what I wanted. Commit selection, so selection.commit. Declare that method, boom, on selection committed, like that. And we're going to say selecting is false. And we need a cancel, I think, as well. EAE is for event args empty, and there we go. So on selection committed is now there. And I think we need a cancel as well. Might as well pop them in here. Selection canceled. Let's just take this, duplicate that. That on selection canceled. Let's create, let's duplicate this line. And there we go. So that's what that looks like. Okay, I don't have a cancel call yet. Good.
Where have you got your call to commit at the moment?
That's inside my mouse up. Right here.
So if you're selecting... Sorry, if you're not selecting, do nothing. Fair enough, yeah. Fred's just slightly in the way there.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why you're here, Rory.
I was sat there going, so if you're selecting, you're not going to commit? Seemed a little wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I see that. If I scroll that right down, it looks like, hey, if I'm selecting, commit. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, just give me a scroll up command, Rory, anytime. Okay, so let's see here. There's my mouse up. We need some event handlers on selection. So yeah, here we go. Selection changed. Selection committed. Okay. And we need a selection canceled, I suppose, as well. Fine. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this because it's important. All right. So now our first test. We're not going to see anything yet. But I want to get the breakpoints here. So I'm going to click in, my test is I'm going to click and hold in the tile, not move it. Then I'm going to move it out of the tile. As soon as I move it out of the tile, I should see selection changed. We'll test that event, see, make sure we're firing there. Or let's do this. Yeah, it's kind of bad to do this. It's temporary though. Like that. Change count. Like that. Start selection. There's my change count, and then I'm going to do this. I know. It's bad. We'll get rid of it soon enough.
Yeah, I mean it's bad on a permanent level, but as an informing you nice and simple way, then it's not that bad.
All right, so that's just going to tell us every time it does. So now we don't need this anymore. And then we've got our selection committed. So let's run it and see what happens. Pyrocat's world is literally on fire. Okay, figuratively, but yeah, rip my evening. Oh, I'm sorry about that, buddy. Okay, so here's our map. Let's see what happens. If I click down here, do I have a breakpoint? Oh, look, already selection changes 2. That's weird. This is good news, though. I'm holding down the mouse.
See the title is behind the CodeRushed logo.
Hold on. And then selection committed. All right. Well, you just have to trust me. Trust me on that.
Yeah,
Hold on.
well, we trust you, obviously.
No, you don't trust me. Hold on. Let's look at it here. All right, here we go. Click
Wow,
down.
that's-
And when I click down, I get a 2 immediately. I don't know why that is. But now as I drag it around, if I keep it in this tile, I should see no changes until I move out. So, and then I pull up and the selection is committed. So I think that feels pretty good. Next, now we've got to now map the selection back to the tiles and select them. It's going to be a rectangular range.
Why is the number so high for selection changed?
I think because I'm moving the mouse. It's every time I move the mouse. Let's make it a little bigger and see if we can double check and verify that. So here's a down right here in this tile.
Yeah.
I don't know why I get 2 there.
If you highlight the room, I make that about 25 cells.
Well, look at this. I'm actually getting a lot of changes here.
Yeah.
Well, that's disheartening. Let's come up here. Nothing here. If I click up here, nothing. If I click here, nothing. Click
Something
here.
about... No, it's
I'm not
even
seeing
that.
anything going on here.
Something break.
Wow. Oh, hold on.
You hit a breakpoint at some point when you moused up.
Something's
it's
going
not.
on. I think I'm in an infinite loop. No? Now it's working. What? Oh, I wonder if the capture didn't work. Oh, it was the capture because of the...
Did we release?
It was the capture, I
use
think,
cap-
because of a breakpoint, I suspect. Let's try here. Just clicking here. Oh, no. Clicking there causes the problem. That's weird.
Do we have to start our capture on a room tile? Sorry, a viable location as opposed to an empty.
Sure seems like it. Because if I start in an empty one, we get this problem. Let's do this. All right. Change count, and then we're going to come up here, and we're going to give me the we say column equals selection. Sorry, hold on. Anchor dot column is equal to selection dot anchor. Uh-oh. Okay. We have a problem here. Hold on. CodeRushed bug. Boom. All right. So kids, I am in here. I'm hitting the dot. IntelliSense comes up. If I type something in and hit escape to get rid of it, and now I want to see what's going on, notice we're coming up here with our assistants. But if I now say I want to reach something in here and I hit control space, so I'm hitting control space right now, and we're coming up instead of Visual Studios or instead of Rush, IntelliRush. And so I want IntelliRush to come up when I hit control space, not the other one when I'm here in the dot or there's a dot and something is being typed in like that. So if I hit escape, I hit control space, that is there, and I don't want to show up here. If I start to type anything in, I think we need to, assume, especially if it's not, if we have this situation right here where it doesn't exist anywhere, our stuff does not make sense. Okay. Secondary issue I just noticed. Why are we only showing 5 lines when we could show way more lines? And why isn't that resizable? And it was, while we're on it, hold on. I think I hit that. Hold on. While we're talking about UI, oops, hold on. Let me bring it up again. Why are we so close? We need more space here between the bottom edge here. We need a margin around this edge. So those are changes we need inside of our. And I forget what the name of this feature is, Roy. Do you remember this?
It's a formatter, smart formatter.
Yeah, format assist, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Something like that. Format assist
Assistance.
blocks in CodeRushed and IntelliSense. Like that. Okay, so we just logged that bug out there. Okay, so let's go back, just hit the dot, and I'm looking for selection. I'm looking for selection.anchor dot column, comma, and anchor dot row. But let's do this. So anchor is equal to row and then caret equals, we basically wanted the same thing. All right, so now we have a little more data that's going to be coming out. Let's see what our data is out here. So our anchor is, let's move it through here. Let's go here. Yeah, what is going on? Oh, I know what's going on. Hold on. It's kind of some basic stuff that we failed to do, which is we need to stop capturing the mouse. Is it restore capture?
Is it release?
Oh, that sounds good. There you go. Look at you, Rory. Brilliant. Okay. I think that's going to solve that problem. It was kind of in every other one. So here we go. Column and row 0, 0. Whoa, what's the caret out at 40 and 32? Okay, hold on. Let's just start one here. Column 1, row 2. Why is anchor right and caret false?
Are we doing something strange like passing pixels into where our row and column should be?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's try and figure that out. Oops, this is the wrong app. Let's go to selection engine, start selection. Get base space, that's working. Oh, you know what's failing? It's get space is working. It's our other one is get space under mouse is failing.
Right.
Why is that? That's our question. So let's just click here. And we got a mouse move. What's our get position on this thing? So we go inside. 22 and 9. That's within the first one.
Yep.
Okay. What's our problem? What? Wait. Oh, not mod. It's div. That's a bad me. That's why we got so many changes, Rory.
Yep. Throw the majority of the answer away and go with the remainder.
I was totally reversing this in my head. Now we're at 0, 0. Okay. Now we got a shot at this thing working. All right. Clear that. All right. So one more time. There we go.
That's
and now
looking better.
Fewer changes, right?
Fewer changes.
Yeah. Come up all the way up to here. Row 0, column 20. Feels true.
Feels good. Yeah.
72, 56. All right, now to put those other tiles to work and start showing the selection. But I think I don't want to do that.
No?
I know. I want to, because here's why. I want to support adding to a selection or subtracting from a selection. So what I want to do is while we're stretching, I want to show you a rubber band around it, essentially a border, but I don't want to do anything until you release the mouse.
Right.
So let's draw the border. So to do the border, we need to actually add another element to the canvas. So let's go do that. That's going to be our rectangle out here. Come on, where's my mouse cursor? There it is. I click in here. What's going on? Oh, it's at the beginning of the line. I didn't see that. Okay. So now I want to create a rectangle here. Let's give it a, call it rect selector. Now can I use the word selector, Rory? You gonna be happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. Which is right. Rory, I'm so glad you're here. Do you know how good this show is when you're here?
I always think it's pretty good still.
No.
Without me.
It's really bad. We're going to start with blue for the stroke. What is it? Stroke thickness? We're going to make that 4. We're going to say width. I'm just going to throw out some numbers here. Is equal to 100. And height is equal to 100 so we can see it. Now, why can't I see it? Oh, there it is. It's around the edges? No, maybe not. What's going on? Why don't I see it? Is it because of the size? Is 0? I think it's because of the size. Let's make this equal to 150 or whatever, 149, 150. H.150, which should give me that. There we go. All right, that's my selector. Stroke thickness, let's set 2. Let's make visibility equal to false. Okay, sweet. Now we've got our rect selector. All right, so now we need to go to our events.
Do we need to make it transparent in the center so it has no fill quality?
It's already that way because we've specified no fill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So we can prove that by coming in here and changing the background color to I don't know, something else like this. And changing our visibility, no longer hidden, and there you can see. See, it's the same color.
Okay, good stuff.
Undo. Okay. So now, if the selection has changed, we want to tell the rect selector where to go.
Reposition it.
Yeah, and so we need to set selection, set active selection, show active selection is what I want. Show active selection, and I've got all the data I need inside of the selection object. You know, I'm kind of good with that. So, whoops, I jumped over here. Didn't mean to. I'm going to keep this code here, diagnostics code, for a second, and then we'll delete it in a moment. Show active selection is here. And now we need to calculate some things here. We need to say canvas dot set left.
So realistically, we want to go back from a row column scenario to a pixels column.
Yes,
scenario.
exactly. So I'll call this X.
Our anchor and our caret.
I'll call that X right there. Yeah. And so I want to say something like this. I want to say map dot get pixels.
Now it's interesting because in the upper left corner of where we start, and bear in mind, I guess the anchor could be in any direction, and so could the caret, but in the upper left of our selection, we need to pick, let's say it was a 0, 0 coordinate for our cells. Sure enough, we're going to want to multiply that by our dimensions and get 0.
Yep.
But if we had a 10 by 10 area, we don't actually the 10 by 10 position would would give us the pixels for the upper left of the cell we've got selected, and we actually want the bottom right of that cell.
Yep. You're
So
right.
it's not quite straightforward.
We're going to get it. Don't worry. Get pixel rect. Watch this. You're going to be like, Mark, you're a genius. Might happen. So we're going to say out int left. And then I'm just going to do this. This is going to be top. Look at selection. Look at duplicate selection working for me so well here. And then we're going to say right, and then shift enter, and then we're going to say bottom, like that. And delete that. We don't need that anymore. And so there we're going to call get pixel rect. Okay. Then we're going to say canvas.set left, like that. Whoops. Do not need to hit that key. Then we're going to say canvas.set top, like this. This is going to be top, and I'm going to change left and right, or right and bottom to instead width and height. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to get there. It's almost there. Then we're going to say rect selector dot width equals width. Look at how sweet this code is, right? Hold on a second. I don't want to change this. Stop replacing selector with room. That's CodeRushed thing right there. And we're going to change this to height, like that. All right, good. And we're going to say visibility is equal to visible.
Yep.
Okay. Also, we want to do a couple other things in here. When it's committed, we want to now say visibility is now equal to hidden.
Yes.
Okay? So just, that's going to be a bug, otherwise we don't do that. Now we need to do get pixel rect of the selection. Yeah, isn't this awesome, having our own class for selection and trying to do everything?
What was the event that you hid everything in? Do you need also on commit but also cancel?
Yes, you're right. I don't think I do. I have a yeah, on selection canceled, selection canceled, selection canceled. There. Okay, you good?
Yep.
And committed. I guess we might as well do it here. In fact, since we're going to do it here, we don't need it here. It's better. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, with me. Okay. Now we need to go implement out
Get pixel rect.
get pixel rect. So let's see, we're outing.
There's a left and a top and a width and a height. Is that right?
Look at you, Rory. The show is so much better with you.
And I love the way you're doing this. You're absolutely right. Okay, genius. Because what you now need is the leftmost of all of the things,
Yes.
the topmost of all of the things, and of course the calculation of width and height. So
Yeah.
you can do nice comparisons between the two cell-derived things.
Yes.
And
In fact,
we're all good.
Will Bennett's extremely efficient coding should inspire us to do this well right now with the fewest lines of code possible. So let's, I shouldn't have said that.
Wow, setting us up for a fall there, Mark.
Yeah. Will's all of a sudden like, I will scrutinize this carefully.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does. So we need
To scroll down a little bit so we can see the code.
to scroll. Let's scroll it. There's two pieces here. There is the anchor and the caret, right? Both of those pieces are things that we need. So we need caret dot get rect coordinates and this is going to look like this, I think. Out.
Will's like,
see
I
no
see
evil.
no evil, hear
Hear
no evil, speak no evil.
Yeah, yeah.
Will, that's because we haven't done any evil yet.
He's like, here comes the evil. Are you ready? And this is going to be caret left. And then we're going to do the same thing right here. Whoops, I want to do that whole thing. Select all that, hit enter here, and then we're going to call this caret top. Then I'm going to call this caret right. And I'm going to call this caret bottom, like that. Okay, so now I've gotten the rect coordinates. Let's call this kid pixel coordinates, like this. President not sure, 1 is here. It's evil that you spelled coordinates wrong. Oh, you're right. No, I didn't. There's no proof. President not sure 1. All right.
Not like there's any video evidence anywhere.
Yeah, no video evidence. All right, so there's my call. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to come down and do the same with anchor. Can I do this and change it all the way across the board? No. I was hoping it would do that for me. It would find all those carets and change them to anchors. Okay, so now we've got anchor here.
Careful, you've got a bottom and a right switched
Oh,
on that second line.
oh, great. It taught me, it said, I'll get these two for you, but not the others. I didn't like that.
So now we've retrieved the extremities of each of the positions of both the caret
Right, and then
and
I want
the
to,
anchor.
yeah, and now I want to say left is equal to get min, I think, of caret left, and or actually I think it's, I just do math.min call here because I really know where the left is on this. So I'm going to say caret left or anchor left. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to say top. Hold on, I gotta. This is bugging me. Stop. Replacing caret with anchor. Similarly, stop replacing anchor with caret. All right. So now I want to change caret left to caret top. Right. Exactly. And I got a quote in there.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's get rid of that. All right. So that's my top.
That's all good.
And then my shoot.
Now,
I'm gonna have to get a right. Yeah, right is equal to math.min of caret right. Right, anchor right. Okay. And you know what I want to do? I want to throw a CodeRushed issue out on this right here. I'm going to mark it here. So this is for Shima Swap. We've been working on this for a while and using duplicate line on this code right here. And we're not having a great time. It is not finding us. What I want you to do is roll back about a minute or two and kind of watch what's going on as we try to create this code. I think we can improve duplicate line so that it is smarter about switching things around. I've talked about this before, but one of the things we saw is we saw bottom switch with right. And if these are parameters to the same function, even if it's not out there, not declared yet, we're not swapping those around. We're never going to swap things around on positioning. Okay, so we want to be smarter there. Look for that. And then also look for, it was swapping caret with anchor. Once I told it to stop, I really wanted it to find the left and the left and to connect those up. So when I came down here and changed those, it would then give me rights and then get those all linked up. Now it's doing it, but before it did not. So take a look at that and see if there's opportunities to improve the feature. And now with that, I'm going to close that issue. And we're going to say, I don't need logs on this, and we're just going to say improve duplicate selection. Or duplicate, yeah, that should be good. Duplicate line selection. Smarter. I want it smarter. Okay, there we go. All right, so that issue's been marked for our devs to take a look at. Okay.
Back to calculating ultimately our width.
So now we've got anchor right here, and then we're going to come in and say, now finally, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. Oops, we already got that. Sorry, hold
So-
on. We want this to be
What have we actually
right.
got? We've got the leftmost right position based on that.
We've got the left at the top. Now we've got the right in the bottom. But
I'm
oh
looking
wait,
at your right equals line. It's getting the leftmost right point when we want the max.
is that's what you were concerned about? Max
That's
instead of
right,
min.
yeah.
Yep.
So the
Okay.
most extreme version now rather than the most
Yeah,
middle.
and then we're going to now say width is equal to right minus left. And what's cool about this is it doesn't matter which direction we go, right? We can drag from top down to the bottom, from the upper right down to bottom left, bottom left up to upper right. This should work for all of that. And then we're going to say height is equal to bottom minus top, like that. In fact, Smart Duplicate Line should fix this automatically. It's not bad. It just didn't get width to height. But if I do it once, there you go. That's what I was looking for. I'm looking for that. Okay, good. So now we got to get the pixel coordinates of the individual spaces for those pieces. I think we also need to set these to null. Set to null just for when we commit, and I think we need the same to, maybe this becomes a clear selection. Like that. And then commit, we're going to clear selection as well. Okay, so there's my get pixel rec. Oh, look at this, clear selection. All right, get pixel coordinates. One last thing to do. And we should see a stretching rectangle. We're missing a number here. This number is over in map. It's 60. It's right here. All right, so now I made it public. Pixels per 5 feet, pixels per tile. That's what I think I'm going to call this. And now I'm going to come over here and reference it out over here because I need to know. Like that, and now I'm going to say, okay, so these coordinates, this is going to be left, top, right, this time, not width, and bottom. Right, that's what we're passing in. Right and bottom. Okay, so now this is going to be equal to, left is equal to column times pixels per tile. I'm just going to do this. I don't need a local. Okay, so there's left. Then we're going to say top is equal to row times pixels per tile. It's a double. I think I'll make it an int for sure. Okay.
Just imagine 5.5 pixels for some
Yeah.
ratio. Seems a little unlikely.
No, yeah, it's unlikely. That's exactly what. And then we're going to say right is equal to left plus that minus 1 should be inclusive. I think it's inclusive. It's
I think
inside.
you need some kind of multiplication in there instead of addition. Is that not right?
No, I'm just going to add the tiles to it because it's just the right is the. We know.
Oh,
the
sorry,
tiles-
we've already produced that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I think that's it. Let's run it and see what happens. Anybody scared? Your and my reputation are on the line right now.
We have a reputation?
Yeah.
Is it a good one?
No, it's not.
Is
It's really,
this a big risk? I mean,
it's pretty high risk, yeah. So this is actually kind of fun to do, right? We write all this code and now we check to see if it works. All right, here we go. So here we go. Click, drag. I think it's working. You know what? I think it's working.
Okay.
Why aren't we seeing it? I think Z order is the problem.
Oh.
I think this is behind everything else we're adding.
Quick
let's
bring
add
to
it
front then.
What'd you say?
Quick bring to front somewhere in code.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just add it manually. I'm going to add this. So let's go. Let's go look at the code for this. Let's go find CBS map. All right, here we go. Oh, and we're also, this call to children.clear, that's also going to kill it. So,
Okay.
add element over tile. Here's where we're loading the map up. We're setting the height and width. Now, here's where we need to add it. So we're going to say, I don't know, let's just comment all this out. Okay. Now we're going to say, we're going to need to create a new rectangle, type rect selector, like this. Let's pop it right there for now. Move that later. We'll come in here and say new instance. That. Interesting. Look at all these fun little things it's giving me. Let's do new instance with a comma so it gives me just the simpler, shorter version of that. All right, now we're going to go in and set all these. So we're going to say rect selector.stroke equals brushes dot blue. Like that. Stroke thickness equals, and is this a number? It is. Okay, is equal to 2. And we don't need the visibility at all with their height on it. We're going to come down here and we're going to say dot hid, visibility is hidden. There. Okay. So now we've just built the selector.
Yep.
And now all the code that uses it should all work. Okay, let's run it. What do you want to bet that this works? I'm putting my entire reputation on the line.
I'm feeling good about this, if I'm honest. Feeling pretty good.
And if it doesn't work, you know, it's probably, who can I blame?
Fred. It's all Fred's fault.
It's Fred's fault. That's right. It's your fault, Fred. All right,
Sorry,
so here we
Fred,
go.
throwing you under the bus there completely. Of course, I have total faith in the
It is not working.
Yeah, Fred, what have you done, man? Come on.
What? How could that not be working? It is the smartest thing we've ever done. Of course it's working. How could we not even be... It must be our eyes that are wrong. Blame it on the rain. Let's go look. Can we, while this thing is running... what do I want to do here? I guess I can go drill in and look at the elements. Let's make sure. We're setting the width and height. Show active selection.
Are we adding the rect selector to anything?
Oh, geez, that was it, Rory. We forgot to do that. That's what it was. There we go.
Oops.
That was totally it. That was totally it, Rory. My reputation is tarnished. It's decimated. Destroyed, Rory, and it's Fred's fault.
In fairness, we found the problem without anyone else telling us.
In fairness, Fred was looking right at it and said nothing. Not our fault. All right, now here's total. Our reputation's totally on the line now. This time for real. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
Something's happening. That's good.
Breakpoint.
That's a good indication.
Not good. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, look at this.
Hey, there you go.
Do you see that?
I do see that. And I see it working in all 4 directions relative to an anchor.
Look at that. Look at that. And then I release. So that's not bad. You know what? I want to give it a fill. I want to give it a fill. I
little
do.
bit of a grey shade.
When I release the mouse, it's not going away. Why is that not happening? Commit is being called. Committed. Oh, I'm not setting it to hidden. I'm setting it to visible. Okay. Let's do it again.
That would be an issue, yeah. Same
Okay,
for
we're
cancelled.
Call this hidden. Oh, you're right.
Because we copied the code directly from one where we are making it visible.
No, just tarnishing our reputation. All right, let's go see where we're building that. Let's give it an internal kind of thing. Let's do a couple things. That stroke thickness is way too small for me. I want this, let's try 5. Let's also make the, I want its opacity of the fill to be different from the opacity of the stroke. So I'm going to need to create 2 selectors for that effect. We'll run it again here. What is going on? Is it because we're only seeing between the lines? In other words, its Z order is still wrong?
But we're adding it afterwards.
Yeah, that means it should have the last Z order, right?
I would think.
Let's change its fill. Oh, this isn't being called. Again. Load map. It's load map.
Right, it only
Okay.
sets up the style when we load everything
All
in
right.
the first place, so
Okay,
we
okay.
don't change it.
Hold
That's
on.
reasonable.
Let's reset and run again.
We're too used to being able to change the XAML and have everything pick up on the fact we have done, so that when we see it in code, we kind of get this idea that it should have changed as well.
Okay, that's better,
better.
I think. But are we still between or not? Is the question. Hard to tell for sure. We also have a problem of we're not seeing it very well if it's over black. See, the contrast is not great.
Yeah.
So I want to do a couple things to fix this. So these are some UI related things that we're going to do to fix this. All right. So our rect reflector here, rect selector. We're going to change this. We're going to change this to rect outside selector like this. We're going to duplicate all of this and create a rect inside selector like this. And we're going to come out here, fix the contrast on this as well. And we're going to also come in here and we're going to say the rect fill selector. So I'm going to create, I'm going to do a couple things on here. The fill, I'm going to change these up. The inside, to add contrast, I'm going to make it really, Roy's got to leave soon.
Does seem like we're getting there.
We're getting there, buddy.
I was away for such a long time. I thought I'd stay a little longer, but even now my time is pretty much coming to the end.
All right, buddy.
But I will be back tomorrow. I have made sure.
Hey, that's awesome. We can't wait to see you.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna. Okay, buddy. We're just making this great, and yeah, you were here for an excellent amount of time. We love you, man.
No problem. My pleasure to be here as always. I will see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy.
No!
No. All right, so I'm kind of going with the same hue of blue here through these. I'm going to give this rect fill selector here that. Let's go find our outside selector where we're using this. And we're going to kind of do the same thing here for the inside and for the fill selector. There's duplicate line working for me. That's what I want right there. Let's find where else we're using this. Yeah. Let's extract method. Set selector size, maybe like that. Let's take this, promote to parameter, and we're going to call this just simply selector, like that. And then we're going to come in, let's do a reorder parameters on this, like that. And then let's come up here, duplicate line, Oh, why didn't it get to the inside one? I wanted you to get me inside here. Am I in a different file? I don't think so. And then there's fill selector right there. All right, cool. Cool, cool, cool. And so now let's see what it looks like here. One other thing we need to do is the inside selector. Call this margin. Let's make it equal to, I don't know, 2. We're just going to bring this up here. Plus margin, minus 2 times margin. And height minus 2 times margin. Also, the fill, I think we got a zeroed problem. This needs to be added first, and outside selectors last. There it is, like that. Okay, let's run it and see what we get. All right, here we go. Pretty sweet. I think the opacity is too high, but I've got, in dark areas I can see the bright line, and in bright areas I can see the dark line. So I feel pretty good about that so far. And it works like regardless of where I drag. So I'll come in here right here on this door. I'm going to click, and yeah, it starts out selected. Looks good. And do I get to 2 just as I cross the line? Yeah, I do. And same down here. Yeah, looks good. Just as a spot check, I'm going to click in the bottom right. Here, hold on. Let's make the bottom right off to the left side of the screen. This. So there's bottom right. Hold on. Let's. I'll get really close to it so you can see. Where is it? Right over here. So click there, down, up, left, yeah. Just as I cross that, it's really sweet and good. So the only thing I need to do is I need to lighten that up a lot. And I think increase the size of the strokes. I want to do that yet again. The stroke's not high enough. So let's lighten this down to 0.25. Or bring the opacity down to 0.25. And then stroke thickness, let's go big and see what happens here. And go to inside selector. Let's do this. We're going to get dot border thickness. I want to put this as a property inside of selection. That's what I want to do. And then when we position the rect inside selector, do I want to, it's a UI piece, so I really want to put it down there? I feel like I kind of do. Margin is equal to selection.border thickness. This is where I want to mess with it. Divided by 2, I think is what I want to do. Something like that. So if the border thickness is 10, I'm going to bring that in by 5. Yeah, the center of it in by 5. Is that working or no? Border thickness is 10. Now the 2 lines here. Yeah, there's overlap. I think I got to bring it in by the whole border thickness. That's what I think I want to do. All right, let's go declare that. And, whoops, I don't want private set. I want to actually make it so anybody can set it. And I'm going to initialize that to, I don't know, 12 for now. It's, I know, a little weird. This is a UI thing, and it's down in the engine. Oh, am I making a mistake? I think I am. Let's do this. To do, move this to a UI space. Buddy. Come on. All right. Let's do that. And let's run it. See how those visual changes look. Okay. We have no selection yet. All right, let's run it now. Okay, a few changes I want to make to it. I'm going to make this black. And I'm going to make this one white. And I'm going to give them both an opacity, but not as light as the fill. So we're going to say the inside selector opacity is going to be equal to 0.5. And the outside selector opacity is going to be equal to 0.5. And so now we're going to get kind of this high contrast, but still be able to see pieces underneath them. Let's look at our border thickness. Let's change this equal to 10. Let's make that equal to 10. Run. Yeah, it's too big, and hold on. Let's change it to 6. And I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to increase its opacity. What? I did not mean to start tests. Let's do this. Run. And I feel like we have a selection engine. Not bad. We don't have multiple selections. Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. I think we can make it even more precise on that border edge right there. And when we're committing the selection, we're not seeing it, so we still have some work to do. All right, hold on. I'm going to crank this even higher, and I'm going to make this even lower. And then I think I want to work on committing the selection. Let's run that. Yeah, that's working for me. Now, selection committed. We need to work on that. All right, so let's do that. Selection committed. Sorry, not here. Over here. All right. Change this around a bit. All right, so that's going to set up our selection type. Let's add a none to the beginning of this. Okay, so now start selection. We want to check to see if the shift key is down. If the shift key is down, let's do this. I'm going to say selection type. The shift key is down, then we are in add mode. We're adding to the selection. Else, if control key is down, then we're going to say we are in remove mode. And then we're going to pass that in, like that. All right. So it's going to add a remove. We'll deal with that in a second. Next, let's get rid of this code because we don't need this anymore. Show active selection, and then we want to go into the map. No, because the selection pieces are only up at this top level, I think. Get tiles. So I think it goes like this. Selection, get pixel rect again, so we're going to get that. And then we're going to say get tiles in rect. Yeah, I know there's a link way to do this, but I'm just not great at link. So, I need to convert to these left top width and height to columns. Or should I just pass these in as columns? So I think I have, is it somewhere in map? Pixels to column row. Sweet, that's what I have. All right, let's change this to pixel rect. I'm feeling a -1 is needed right here. Okay, and so we've got, this is going to be left column. This is going to be right column. And this is going to be bottom row. This is going to be top row. Like that. Okay, now we want to come down here and say if base space dot column is greater than or equal to left column, and base space dot row is, well, let's just stay on column for a second here actually. Column is less than or equal to right column, and now I want to change column to row. Base row is greater than or equal to top row, and base space dot row is less than or equal to bottom row. So if that's the case, I want this to be an and too. All right. So if the bottom row is greater than or equal to the top row, and I'm sorry, the row of the space is greater than or equal to the top row, or less, no, and less than or equal to the bottom row. And basically the question is the column inside the range? Then we want to We say results.add a space. Like that. All right, so there's get tiles in pixel rect. Now we have to go through that. And we have to say, here's where I think we have the tag. Oh, no, wait, it's not the tag. Yeah, I need to go from my base space back out to that tag that's been on top of it, is what I need to do. Let's go find where we're building that UI. Yeah, I need to say tile dot all right. I'm going to just create a whoops, I don't want to put framework element down there in this map core. I don't want to have it any dependencies on it. So I'm just going to say it's equal to object like that. And so now we're good there. Selector panel is there. Sorry, next. Selector panel. So now we want to do something like this. If selector panel dot, wait, hold on a second. When I create the get selector panel, I was just going to play with opacity on this, but it's only going to be one or on or off. So we're just going to say visibility dot hidden. And we're going to actually set its opacity equal to, I don't know, about 0.3. Okay. We'll play with that. That can probably use some tweaks. So now we want to check to see, well, okay, if selection dot selection type equals selection type dot add. Then we're going to say framework element dot visibility equals I think I want to do this too. I want to set selected to true. I think I want the base space to keep track of whether it's selected or not. Okay. All right, then we come down here and say else. If it is remove, then base space dot selected is equal to false. And visibility is hidden. Else, if selection type is equal to replace. That's what that looks like, actually. It's this. Then we need something else that is if selection type is equal to selection.replace, we want to clear the selection. That's what we want to do. All right. Nice rainbow, Will. Okay, so clearing the selection. That's a couple things that are going on here. One is we got to say selection.clear. Oh, I thought I had. Not there. I have clear selection. Hold on. There we go. All right, so there's selection.clear. The other thing I need to do is I need to go through all the spaces right. Spaces are all of them, right? Let's double check that. Nope, spaces. Oh, it's it. No, it is. It's everything. Cool. All right. So for each of those, there's my base space in there. And I need code that's similar to right here. Like that. Okay, so if we're replacing, which means it's a normal selection, we're going to clear the current active selection, which consists of a call down to the engine to clear, but also on a UI level, clearing the UI selection. Okay, like I can almost come in here and extract this piece out, clear selection UI, like that. Similarly, no, this is in the wrong place. Not here. Just before I call start selection, I want to do that. Here. There we go. So now we're going to clear it there. And then we're going to call start selection. So that's the only difference between a replace and a add or subtract. Okay. Then this is going to set the individual visibility of all of those panel pieces after we are completed with it, the selection, and they should be selected. I think that's it. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully I don't have a bug in there because I'm like, my brain's just like, whoa, let's stop working now. See what we got here. Absolutely broken. What's going on? What's going on? I don't like that my mouse down is far from my mouse moves. Here we go. I'm not even getting my mouse down here. Why am I not getting my mouse down? Oh, because of this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work with. Do I want to put my mouse down, not here? No, because I need to get it because this is on top of it. All right, so this is my problem. Okay, so we need to set the opacity to 0 initially, and then we're going to, the selector panel, we got to control those. Here we go. So here I want to say selector panel dot opacity is equal to 0. And here I want to say and that's equal to 0 there. And we still get the mouse up and the mouse down is what we're looking for. Is that the fix? Is that the only fix? Selector panel, we using this anywhere else? That's it. Let's see if that works. Oh, we do have a problem here. Shoot. But this part works. I think the opacity is way too high on the one right here. This should be a 0.3. Yeah, I think I do need to come in here and say, hey, look, if selection type is equal to replace, then clear rubber banding. It's coming around the top. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of this because we're not really selecting yet. Let's just verify. I'm pretty sure I was only setting these to true. I'm not using these yet. Yeah. Okay. So let's kill that. Kill that. Kill that. Kill that. Kill that. All right. So now I want to clear the rubber banding. Let's go find clear selection. There it is, clear selection UI. Yeah, that's only the rubber banding right there. Yeah, clear selection UI is what I want. So I want this here. If it's replaced, wait, hold on though. Do we have a problem as we're going around? Yeah, it's on commit. Oh, it's going to involve a little more thought, I think. I just haven't quite figured this out. I feel like I'm almost there, but I'm like, oh, out of time. Okay. Yeah, this is, let's go back here. Hold on a second. Hold on, we just, let's comment this out for a second. I want selection committed. Where's our selection committed? Event handler. I think this code goes here. Now, we just need do need that other little bit of code that was that I before, which is what if selection type equals selection type dot replace. Then we want to come in and say selection dot clear. Then we want to go to map and say clear selection. And then we want to say clear selection UI. Okay, so map.clearSelection, let's go do that. I think I'm going to be able to recover here and get it here. All right, let's see what happens here. Caret is null. Let's look at the call stack. This call can't happen now. Once we get the pixel rect, actually, it can happen. We just have to put this in front of that. There's no promote to parameter here. Wait, where am I ever setting this to true? To visible, I mean. Did I just... All right, so what do we are? Start selection, I think is what we're looking for. Here it is. Okay. See what it looks like now. I feel like there's something else I want to do, but I'm not remembering it. There we go. There we go. All right, let's hold down the shift key. Nope, those went away. Oh wait, that worked that time. What? Here's shift key. Here's control key. And it subtracts. Shift key. One down, replaces. Now shift key. There's something wrong there. It's the first time I do it, it kills the selection. I don't get this. It's the very point here. So shift key down. No shift key this time. Shift key down. The shift key is clearly down. It even tells me the modifier shift. You can do a has flag instead of the and. Thanks. Yeah, I think you told me this before, Will. How do we do a has flag? What is that on? Is that on? That's on enum. Is that right? No. What are we on? So this should be on enum. Why am I not finding it? No IntelliSense on it. enum.hasFlag. Yeah. This must it's an extension method. What's on the enum element? Yeah, it's on the element. There it is. That's it. All right. Let's go fix the templates for that. Shift key down, template. This is the one we want to change. This one we want to be control. And this one we want to be alt. Oops. That. All right, so now we can come down in here. Say alt key or control key down, CKD. There we go. What is going on? That's what I don't understand. We're not running anymore. I stopped it. Is that what's happening? Okay. Yeah, I don't get it. Hey, Copper Beauty.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
Yeah, so now I got the shift key clearly down. I'm holding it down, and yet this is not returning. Yeah, I don't get it. So what's really weird is that it tells me the selection type. Oh, wait. I see my problem. Sorry, kids. That's my problem right there. That's what the problem is. All right, my bad. All right, so now let's do it. Shift key down, and now we've got combined. Control key down, we can clear and select different areas of the map. Control key to cut an area out. Shift key to add an area to the selection. I'm not sure I like the indicator where it's just changing it. I almost want to totally invert this so that if we select, if there's a selection, we obscure everything else and highlight the part that's selected. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Can I do that quickly, is the question. What's my time? I need to get out of here fast. I think I'm going to save that. That's what I'm going to do. We've done a fair amount of work. We've basically got this, the essence of the selection engine working. I can create and drag. I can drag in all kinds of directions. When I release, it toggles the selection. I can hold the shift key down to merge selections together. And I can use the control key to cut holes in the selection. So that is the goal for today, and we managed to succeed in that. I just don't like the look of it. I want, instead of it being harder to see the selection, I want the selection to show up at high contrast, and I want everything else to be low contrast. But that's pretty quick. We can fix that tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to see who else is out there, and we will move you kids onto another channel from the live coders. Let's send you over to InstaFluff. We like that guy. Send over to InstaFluff. Say hi to InstaFluff. I'm going to go grab some food to eat. Copperbeardy, nice having you with us. We'll see you maybe tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are kicking butt as usual. All right? Say hi to InstaFluff. Bye.